Hello and welcome to our virtual school visits presentation on science at NUI Galway. My name is Gavin Collins and I'm the Vice Dean for Student Recruitment at the College of Science and Engineering at NUI Galway. Our slides are also available as a PDF in which you can click on links to watch our various videos, view our course web pages and download our prospectus and our different brochures containing detailed course by course and even year by year, module by module information. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what I'll speak on. I'll tell you a little bit about our university, NUI Galway, and then about why I think science is a good option for your further study and why NUI Galway is an excellent choice for your science degree. I'll introduce our new degree in agricultural science and I'll tell you a little bit about your options in computer science at NUI Galway. And lastly, I'll end with some closing thoughts and some practical advice on how you might approach the process of making your mind up about university. So first off then, let's think a little bit about the university. And I suppose one of the first things I'd say is that we're really proud to be able to say that ours is among the top 1% of universities in the world, as measured by the QS World University Rankings. So the rankings compare universities all around the world in terms of teaching and the impact of the research that we do, amongst other things. We also take sustainability really seriously. So we teach sustainability as a major theme in some of our courses, and we also take sustainability seriously as an institution, especially in supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs for 2030. And in another set of rankings, where the Times Higher Education considered different universities' performance relating to the UN SDGs in their SDG impact rankings, NUI Galway was placed 68th in the world overall. Indeed, not only that, but we were 10th in the world relating to SDG number 14, life below water, and 20th in relation to SDG number 3, good health and well-being. And so we really do, we think, have quite a lot to be proud of in the university. So we're in the top 1% of universities. We have over 110,000 graduates all over the world, a network you can plug into after you graduate. We've invested over 400 million in the past decade, including in 16 new buildings on our campus. Our graduates' employability rate is 98%. 5 of our researchers are amongst the world's most highly cited, meaning that their research is amongst the most consequential and amongst the most read by other researchers around the world. And lastly, our annual budget is almost 280 million euros, which gives you an idea of the scale and the impact of the university. Indeed, you can click on this video here to watch a welcome message and to get a taste of what we can offer you on our beautiful campus along the River Corrib in Galway. So having had a taste of what the university has to offer then, the question is, you want to be a scientist? Well, a question I'm often also asked is, I like science, but do I have to work in a lab? So perhaps the question we could start off with is, who are scientists anyway? And I would suggest that it's not just those people who work in a lab there and there, although they're quite obviously scientists, and although many scientists enjoy doing experimental and analytical work to answer important questions for industry and society, but it's also those other people too. And what I would say is that scientists are required everywhere. So careers in science are as varied as they are many. And really what makes each of these people a scientist is their core skills. So what are the core skills of a scientist? Well, I've identified the core skills and listed them here from 1 to 5. So number 1 is around understanding big, perhaps sometimes existential challenges, say around climate change or antimicrobial resistance, or moving successfully and seamlessly to a cashless society, or indeed dealing with global pandemics. And asking the right questions in an informed way, as only a scientist can do. The second of those skills is in applying analytical tools and generating data. So figuring out how to address those questions and which measurements to make and which experiments to do to generate the data. The third is in analyzing the data and understanding it sufficiently to know which statistical tests, for example, and other analyses to apply in order to pull an answer out from your raw data. The fourth is in drawing conclusions from those data, and you'll find yourself as a scientist in a fairly privileged position in society where you'll be able to influence and inform and help others make decisions, or indeed perhaps even make decisions yourself. And sometimes you'll find yourself maybe in a multidisciplinary team with other people from law, from the arts, from engineering, and from other areas who aren't scientists and need your input. So drawing conclusions will be critically important at that point. And the fifth is around effective communication, and this is something that we place a lot of emphasis on at NUI Galway in training you to be a good scientist. Because you need to be able to tell your next door non-scientist neighbour and your peers, and even right the whole way up to a Nobel Prize winner, all about your work, but in an adaptable and respectful way without talking down to anybody, nor being afraid to talk to anybody. And you need to change that and be flexible depending on the situation. That requires a lot of skill, and we'll get you there. So why study science and earn a BSc? Well, it's to train in those core skills and to get those core skills. So if you have that inquiring mind and you'd like to develop those core skills and have access to a diversity of fascinating careers, then a science degree may be for you. So the next question then might be, well, why NUI Galway for my science degree? Because it is true that all excellent universities will deliver on those key core skills. And all other universities in the top 1% of universities in the world absolutely will do that. However, we think that at NUI Galway we do this exceptionally well. And we've tried to boil this down to the top 5 reasons why NUI Galway is a good place for you to study your science degree. So those are, number 1, our unique specialisms. So some of our courses reflect our strengths, the areas in which we have world-class expertise and research track records. And some indeed are unique in the country and can't be found elsewhere. So for example, our BSc in Marine Science is the only such degree in Ireland. And both our BSc in Biopharmaceutical Chemistry and our BSc in Environmental Health and Safety have been carefully designed in consultation with employers, and they include work placements so that you get a chance to work alongside potential employers. The second reason is around our graduates' excellent employment prospects. So I mentioned already that that's 98%. So the data that you can see here in this table are independent data from the Higher Education Authority, and in the middle column you can see the destinations of our undergraduate students 6 months after graduating from a science degree at NUI Galway. So almost 55% are working full-time in a relevant post. A further 36% or so are in further study, and only 2% are still looking for work. The third reason then is that, well, several of my colleagues at NUI Galway are indeed amongst the world's most influential scientists. So their work, their research and their published papers has been read and quoted by so many other scientists around the world that they're now amongst the world's most cited scientists. So for you, this means that their expertise and their passion bleeds into their teaching. And this is something that you can experience as a student with us on your science degree at NUI Galway. Reason number 4 is around placements and fieldwork and study abroad. So let's take placements first. So on some of our science courses, placements are a formal built-in feature, and you'll get the chance to spend time with an employer. For example, our BSc in biopharmaceutical chemistry or our BSc in biotechnology. Indeed, on our BSc in environmental health and safety, you'll have a 7-month placement, and we successfully placed all of our students on this course with employers last year, despite the challenges of COVID-19. Then fieldwork. Well, think of our location. It is quite literally unique, placed as we are with the Atlantic Ocean on one side, the River Shannon on the other, Connemara above us, and the Burren beneath us. We really do offer exceptional opportunities for fieldwork for all of our students on ecological and field studies, including, say, in botany and plant science, zoology, agricultural science, earth and ocean science, and environmental science. Indeed, our marine science students also have the chance to get on board the national research vessels, the Celtic Explorer and the Celtic Voyager, and they have Ireland's National Marine Institute down the road in Oranmore, close by Galway. And equally, our atmospheric physics students have access to Mace Head, where we have a station for atmospheric and climate change science that's unique in Europe. And lastly, on study abroad opportunities, well, as one of our science students, you'll have the chance to study abroad in one of our partner universities in the University of California system, Los Angeles or San Diego or Berkeley and so on, or John Carroll University in Ohio, or the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, if your grades are sufficiently high and if you impress us sufficiently well in an interview we'd have with you in second year. And we can then support your time abroad for a whole term or a whole semester in third year, when you'll study modules in your new university similar to those that you would have taken had you stayed in Galway. And we'll map your marks back onto your degree at Galway. Indeed, all of our students can avail of Erasmus if they'd like to study in Europe, and you can learn more about that on our website. And finally, reason number 5. Each of our science students will do a final year research project. So in fourth year, and this will be in one of our research groups alongside our professors and postdocs and PhD students, where you'll have the access to the best labs and the best equipment we have on campus. So we don't hide those away from you. We'll invite you in to experience the best infrastructure that we have. So knowing that, the question then is, how do you study with us? And you might be surprised to know that you can earn one of 31 different BSc degrees with us at NUI Galway. This is despite the fact that you'll see only 13 listed with the CAO. So how does that work? Well, perhaps let's break that down and think about the areas in which you can study science with us. First, you'll see that we offer study in all of those areas: environmental health and safety, all areas of physics, mathematics, chemistry, medicinal chemistry, biopharmaceutical chemistry, marine science, earth and ocean science and environmental science, zoology, microbiology and botany, and in the preclinical sciences, including anatomy, pharmacology, and physiology. So let's break that down even further then. And what we've tried to do here is make, I guess, what looks like a tube map, right? And you'll see that there's 2 main ways to study science at NUI Galway. The first is through our main and our singularly most popular degree, GY 301, which offers 19 different pathways or streams to your specialist degree. And we'll think about that in a moment. The second, though, is by choosing to study on one of our 12 other standalone degrees. And we'll consider those shortly in a moment. All in all, though, that's the 19 pathways on GY 301, plus the 12 other degrees. So that's 31 separate possible specialisms you might consider. Okay, let's break down GY301 first, our main science degree. So you'll see on the map, which as I said, looks a little bit like an underground tube map, that we have 19 different pathways spread across several areas. So first off, in yellow there, you'll see 7 different areas in maths. In blue, you'll see our physics degree. In red, then, you see the 2 pathways you can take in chemistry, in medicinal chemistry and in chemistry. Then in, I guess, what looks like marine blue, you see our earth and ocean sciences pathway. Moving over then, and in pink, you see anatomy, pharmacology and physiology, our preclinical subjects. In orange, biochemistry and plant and agri-sciences. And finally, on the green line there, zoology, microbiology and botany and plant science. Before we move on though, let's just see what your time on our main degree on GY301 might look like. Well, what you do is this, that in first year, you'd pick 4 subjects from a list of 7. Now, most students will take biology, chemistry, physics and maths, though you'll have the option to take mathematical studies or computer science instead. In year 2 then, you'll move on and your choices start kicking in. So in year 2, you'll choose 3 pathways from the 19 that we've just seen on the previous slide. And we'll help you, we'll offer guidance in choosing your pathways. In year 3 then, you'll keep 2 of your pathways, and in year 4, you'll keep just 1 of the pathways, and that will then be your specialism. So you'll then be an expert in that area, be it mathematics or zoology or biochemistry or medicinal chemistry or another of the 19 areas. And you'll graduate with a BSc in that subject. So this really is by far and away the most popular way to study science with us, and over 300 of our roughly 600 science students each year take that degree, GY301, whilst the other 300 of our 600 students are distributed across our 12 other degrees. So it is singularly our most popular. Okay, so back to the map then. And you can see the 19 pathways again, and those are the ones we've just discussed. But let's, on top of that, add our 12 other BSc degrees. So it gets quite crowded. So what I'll do now is fade out all of the GY301 pathways to leave just our 12 standalone degrees. So now you'll see those dotted around the subject areas in the map. You'll see the BSc in Mathematical Science and the BSc in Financial Maths and Economics. Over at the blue area, you see Physics, and you'll see the BSc in Physics with options, which has options in Applied Physics, Theoretical Physics, Astrophysics, taking use of our decades of expertise in astronomy at NUI Galway, and our Biomedical Physics stream. In red, you see our BSc in Biopharmaceutical Chemistry, crafted in close consultation with employers in the biopharma sector. At the bottom, our BSc in Marine Science, the BSc in Environmental Science, and the BSc in Earth and Ocean Science. Over to green, you see the BSc in Environmental Health and Safety, combining science, engineering, law, and health. To pink, you see the BSc in Biomedical Science, one of our most popular degrees, allowing you to study on some of the preclinical sciences. And in orange, our relatively new BSc in Genetics and Genomics, started for the first time in 2020, combining biology and informatics. And our brand new BSc in Agricultural Science, which I'll talk about in a few moments. And you see our degree in Biotechnology, combining together biology, technology, innovation, and even business. Okay, so those are our standalone degrees, including our new GY301 and our new GY322. So here are some important messages I think you might consider based on all of that information. The first is that each of our degrees, through GY301 or through one of our 12 others, results in the same outcome, a BSc degree. So each of our degrees is of the same depth and value and specialization. Each just offers you a way to find a different specialism and to follow what you like best. Our main science degree then, GY 301, it's often known as general science, but I'd urge you not to think of it as such. It's not general science, as you will specialise as you progress. So we never have, we don't plan to ever have a degree in general science, because we want our graduates to be expert specialists, and every one of our science graduates is a specialist. And lastly then, CAO points don't indicate quality or career prospects. They're simply just a function of supply and demand, and on courses where we have quite few places but many applications, the points required tend to be a little high. On the other hand, though, as you know, we have over 300 places available on our main degree on GY 301, and so we're able to ensure that the points required for this course have not risen too sharply. In fact, this course, I might suggest, represents really excellent value for your CAO points. Okay, so now that we know there's two ways to study science with us, through our main degree or through one of our 12 others, here are some of the pros and cons you might consider. Well, the first is that GY 301, our main degree, offers a huge level of choice, all of those different pathways to your degree. But there are ceilings on student places in some of those pathways, so you should just be aware of that. Equally, on one of our other standalone degrees, well, there's certainty as to the final destination and what you'll specialise in, with guaranteed places on modules, but there is less choice than on GY 301. So I suggest that this really will depend on how certain you are already on which specialism is for you, or whether you're the kind of person who'd like to keep open some of the choice that's available through GY 301, or to make your mind up and from the get-go know exactly what you're going to specialise in. Okay, let's just spend a little bit of time then looking at two other courses. First, our new course in agricultural science, and then we'll move on and think a little bit about computer science, and I'll finish up. So briefly, let me tell you about this new degree, our BSc for 2021 in agricultural science. Well, we're really pleased to announce this new degree, the BSc in agricultural science at NUI Galway, and this is where agricultural science makes a comeback at Galway, because we offered a B Agri Science until 1979, and now not until 2021 will we have offered an agricultural science degree. And this new degree will be available to you on the CAO as course code GY322. The programme will be jointly taught by our College of Science and Engineering on one hand and our College of Arts and Social Science on the other. It's a unique degree combining science, agricultural practice, rural development and social science, and we expect our graduates will be the future leaders of the agricultural and bioeconomy sectors in Ireland and elsewhere. The new degree now sits actually alongside our existing pathway in plant and agri-bioscience. So you've got some options to choose plant and agri-bioscience through our main degree, GY 301, or consider this new degree, which, as I say, takes in lots of input from our colleagues in arts and social science and thinks much more broadly about combining together science, agricultural practice, rural development and social science. So briefly, the unique aspects of the BSc in agricultural science will include, well, it'll be focused on sustainability and on achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which we had mentioned earlier in the presentation. You'll also learn about innovations in agriculture to achieve sustainability. You'll consider people, animals, crops, the bioeconomy, land use, as well as rural economics and the potential for new types of jobs and livelihoods. And it'll be taught in the west of Ireland and in a Western developed country, which is what Ireland is. but it'll also have a global focus, including a focus on developing countries. So there will be a truly interdisciplinary approach and teachers from all across the university contributing to this new degree. And each student will have a placement opportunity, including at partners such as Teagasc. Okay, so that gives you a little flavour of that new highlight for 2021. Let me now just briefly tell you a little about another area of teaching at NUI Galway, and that's in computer science. So our School of Computer Science is a research-intensive school with lots of industrial connections, and it's the home of another degree, and that's the BSc in Computer Science and Information Technology, and you'll find that as GY 350 with the CAO. Actually, my colleague, as you can see on the slide just there, Professor Mike Madden, he can tell you all about computer science at NUI Galway. So you can click on his YouTube video in the PDF version of these slides to learn more about computer science in general and about the BSc in computer science at NUI Galway. But let me just give you some highlights. This will be where you combine computers and computing systems along with our relationship with them. You'll learn about theoretical aspects, algorithms and data structures, right through to practical aspects, including software development and implementation. And topics such as artificial intelligence, the whole way through to human-computer interaction, from programming languages through to networks and visual and graphic processing. Indeed, some of the features of this degree is that, firstly, it's one of only 2 professionally accredited software engineering degrees in the country, which means that employers will instantly recognize the value of your degree. The course involves computer science and software engineering. It's got a strong and broad base of computing skills in which you'll train. It's a 4-year honours degree, including a work placement. There's hands-on project and teamwork. There's also an optional extra maths stream for those who want it. And it is a highly respected professional degree. Indeed, you'll, as part of your learning, tackle problems including digital media and games, medical informatics, energy and environmental informatics and how computer science can be used in that area, computational informatics, and enterprise informatics. You'll see how computer science reaches its tentacles into all of those different challenges in society. The careers in computer science are diverse and include those in health, education, finance, transportation, entertainment, information communications technology, energy, and engineering. And indeed, careers in this area rank amongst the best. And in 2020, software developer was number 1 on the list of the 100 best jobs of the year. And you can click on the link there in the slide to find that information on US News. So if you're wondering then, is computer science for you? Well, then I would suggest ask yourself, are you into problem solving, creating new things, logic and innovation? And if the answer is yes, then computer science may well be for you. And lastly, well, there are some other ways to study computer science at NUI Galway, including as part of our main science degree, GY 301, as a subject there, or even as part of a Bachelor of Arts degree at the university. Okay, so to get toward the end then, you may be wondering how to find out more, and even where and how you can start your research, because we understand it's overwhelming to consider all of the brochures and websites available from all of the courses in which you might and even might not want to study, and in which you might and might not be interested. So I guess the next question, well, it's back to the original question. So, if you still want to be a scientist, well, I suggest that the first thing to say is that you'll have the core skills we discovered earlier. And after that, as you see with the degree courses that we have on offer, your specialization then will start to steer you toward a particular area and toward particular careers. Indeed, our graduates end up in all areas of industry, in the pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical sectors, the energy sector in all areas, including chemical, petroleum, renewable and biofuels area of the bioeconomy, in the medtech and medical devices sector, in electronics, computing, financial services, IT, and many others. They're also in education at all levels. They're in research and development, publicly and privately, and they're in the public sector, in local authorities and agencies such as Teagasc and Cuilche and the EPA, as well as, of course, in the health service and in many more. And remember, 98% of our graduates are in relevant work or further study within 6 months of graduating. And so there is excellent employability for our science graduates. And well, I don't know what will be the hot jobs in 2025 or 2026 when you graduate. However, what we do know is that your core skills in science will be your calling card. So lastly then, I can offer some advice on doing your own research and finding out more information to help you make your decision on which courses you'll apply to. So first off, I suggest you see our undergraduate prospectus. And we can even post it straight to you at home or at school. So see nuigalway.ie/CAO for our CAO hub and to request your own copy of our prospectus. And in a moment, I'll give you a link to download the prospectus also. Then I recommend you make a list of the courses you like based on reading the prospectus, and then go to our course web pages. So each of our courses has its own course web page, and there you can get all of the information you'll need to narrow your search down further. You should compare courses and compare the subjects or the modules you'd study year by year on each one of them to see whether you'd be happy on that course, because if you can't imagine yourself on that course and enjoying those subjects, then perhaps that course isn't for you. You can also ask a question online, so you can see our Ask button, which you'll find at the bottom of each of our course web pages. And of course, you can attend an open day or a taster day in 2021. So here on this slide, you can download our undergraduate prospectus. You can see it there. So you can read a digital copy whilst you wait for the one you've ordered to come in the post. You can also order our quick guide to courses. So there you'll see a list of our courses with a summary of the 2020 CAO entry points, and you'll see the matriculation studies or subjects rather that you'll need and any other requirements that may be specific to each of those courses. So that'll be a handy place for you to get your head around everything we offer. And of course, there's also an A-level quick guide that's available for students in NI in the UK. Here on this slide, you've got a list of all of our science degrees. And in the PDF version of the slides, you'll be able to click on the links, and those links are pretty simple there. You can see nuigalway.ie/GY3. 01 is Bachelor of Science, 03 is Biomedical Science, 04 Biotechnology, and so on. You can click directly on those to get straight to the course webpage. So through the PDF version of this slide, click directly on the link and it'll take you to that webpage. So there on the webpage, you'll see entry requirements, course outlines, all of the key facts about your course, and details on your modules year by year. You'll also be able to click on your modules there and see descriptions of what you'll be learning. So this will be a really important step, I think, in making the decision that's right for you. And you'll have everything you need in one place now. Indeed, if you need even more information then, here's some more for you. So here you have a clickable link for GY301, the first image, and then for each of our other degrees in the subsequent images. And in most cases there, you'll be able to get year by year, module by module information on your course, even including information on optional modules you might take along the way. So this might be a good way for you to compare the structure of GY301, for example, with that of the other standalone degrees. And I think this will be quite useful for you. Equally, here is a list of all of the currently available videos about studying science with us. So this should give you a taste of what life with us might look like. So we'll be making more and better content in 2021. So keep an eye out for more videos from us as well. Our recruitment of new students is also inclusive, and we welcome applications from a diversity of prospective students, including from socioeconomically disadvantaged students and from people with disabilities. So you can click on any of the images on this slide to download more information. So you'll see information on mature students, for example. So you see the first of the brochures there gives you information on the options available for mature study. The second is on QQI, FETAC and PLCs. The third you can click on there brings you to our disability support service. The fourth is around our access program, then our HEAR program, our higher education access route, then our disability access route to education, or DARE, and finally a link for you to get all of the information you need in one place from our access centre at NUI Galway. Indeed, we also have scholarships and some other supports for your education. So we've tried to collate all of our scholarship opportunities in one place. So you can click on the link in the PDF version of the slides. So click on the little image there, as you'll see, to get information on all of the scholarships open to you, including scholarships supported by Intel and Google, or scholarships for students with a disability, or our NUI Galway sports scholarships. So all of the information you need is in one place on our website. So at that point, I hope this information helps you on your pathway to becoming a scientist. And we hope that you'll come join us and that we'll see you here on our campus at NUI Galway as a student in 2021 or 2022. So thanks for listening or viewing, and goodbye.